So good morning, everybody. Let's now start. Chris?
Okay. Good morning, Icasa President, Sir Vice President, Icasa Director. My name is Chris Kosinwatro, Senior Marketing and Partnership Officer, and I present on Icasa 2025 Marketing Strategy. Icasa 2025 comes at a pivotal moment as global health funding faced unprecedented challenges, especially with Trump's administration suspension of U.S. support to Africa. Icasa 2025 therefore calls for strong partnership support in order to ensure a successful Icasa 2025. We have outlined various marketing strategies to increase visibility of partners, expand participation, and ensure health responses in Africa. We have, please go back. We have 6 levels of partnership, which includes co-organizer, that goes for 100,000 plus, senior partners $90,000, partners $45,000, co-partners 22,500, supporters 12,000, and co-supporters 6,000. Next slide. These various levels of partnership comes with various benefits. For co-organizers and senior partners, we have free delegate registration. We have fixed VIP tickets for the opening ceremony, best time to host press conference, and we also have the right to use Icasa logo. For co-organizers, they also have the opportunity to further discuss benefits that they want to be tailored according to their company or partner's brand. Next slide. We have various sponsorship and promotional items. These include delegate bags for $50,000, lanyard for $45,000, volunteers cap for $20,000, volunteers t-shirt for $25. These various sponsorship and promotional items, Icasa partners logo will be printed on these marketing items to increase visibility during and beyond the conference. Next slide. We also have advertisements in the Icasa program book. Also, we have community village, and it's free to the general public. The participation of community village is open to the general public without any fee. And we have $1,000 and $1,500 as fees for community village organization book. So CSOs can actually take advantage of this particular exhibition book. Next slide. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Icasa 2025 offers exhibition opportunity to 8 partners to showcase their initiative, projects, services, and products to worldwide global audience at Icasa. We have a standard of 9 meters square going for $5,257 and 80 meters square for $10,050. Also, it comes with 2 free exhibitor badges. We also have what we call space only, and space only is where we give partners the opportunity to customize their own exhibition stand. Next slide. We will be offering, Icasa will offer live streaming for all its co-organizers as additional benefit during exhibition. Next slide. Icasa also offers satellite section, which is organized by partners. It's a section organized by partners during the conference, and it comes at a fee. We have commercial for profit-making organization and non-commercial for non-profit making organization. We also have a standard duration of 45 minutes for satellite symposium. Next slide. Also for Icasa delegate registration, we classify them according to the World Bank classification of low and middle income country and high income country. So that's how we classify the fee. And also the fee is further classified to early, regular registration, and on-site or late registration fee. And we are currently at the early registration fee for low and middle income countries, which goes for 450 US dollars. Then for high income country, 700 US dollars. Next slide. Also, we have group registration of 15 or more who enjoy 10% discount for total registration fee. Paid SAR members are also eligible to 5% discount on registration fee. So we encourage all our SAR members to pay their membership registration fee to enjoy the 5% discount. In addition, we have a flat registration fee of 300 US dollars that applies to all participants from the host country. So with your support, despite the global funding challenges and with the support of all our partners, we look forward to organizing a successful Icasa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Chris, well presented, very clear, but obviously they always are comments and questions. Any comment? Any questions? Yes, Ms. Raphael?
I know from previous experiences, people used to say the satellite sessions for 45 minutes is too short. Have we reconsidered that? And yeah, I always wanted to explain why it's so short, but yeah. It's too short, look, the satellite session, 45 minutes.
Any other question before they are answered? Yes, Leo? No, I asked you to come. Oh, are you the chair?
Chris, I might have missed something. If my memory serves me properly, in this very room in November last year, we had Dr. Aliu Silla, who made an excellent presentation on the marketing strategy. So I was rather expecting an update on how far we've gone in implementing that strategy. Is there anything holding back? And what is it that we, as a member of the International Steering Committee, so will have done? So maybe I'm a little bit mixed up, and that was my expectation. On the membership, on renewing it, I got a mail, but we can't access the link, so I wrote back, colleagues, even in the office, wanted to register, but it looks like there's a glitch, so in the computer. So the IT may want to look into that, so when you click on the link to renew your membership, I think there's a glitch, so at that level. So again, I might be missing something, but I was expecting an update, so on the strategy that was presented last year. So what is holding back? What is it that we can do? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sheila.
Thank you very much for the presentation. What we understand what has been presented, but my question is, with now the economic situation, when will we get the reality of the picture that has been presented? For example, we have the international donors, the partners. How many? I think there'll be a time when we want to know, do the partners such as UNFPA, WHO, our UDOR, have they been able to contribute anything? So when are we going to get that?
Want to pose the question before we get to
Presentation. I think that's excellent.
Thank you very much. With regards to the 45-minute duration, we realized that over the years we used to offer 120 minutes, but during COVID-19 and based on research from MPI, we noticed that the members do no longer pay attention after the 45 minutes. So based on research, we are able to reduce it to 45 minutes duration. That's for the duration aspect. MPI is an event or conference certification platform, global conference certification platforms. So we are also a member of that organization. Then with regards to updates on the Icasa marketing strategy, yesterday my colleague Gordon presented where we are so far, and he gave for donors, Viv Healthcare is the only one who has been able to support. So far, we have sent 45 proposals. We are targeting 200 proposals to our various partners. Also, exhibition. So far, there has been 6 exhibition booking as well. So we encourage our partners to consider and make recommendations to us for various organizations. So far, NACPA has been giving us various partners so that we can send them proposal as well. So we actually presented on the marketing strategy again to emphasize the need for our partners to come on board to support Icasa. With regards to the membership access, we will look into it. However, sometimes the challenge is from our members in terms of their internet and also website. But this particular one, once we get to the office, we'll relook at it because membership registration is still ongoing. Then with regards to Professor Sheila, yes, we've written to our various partners, UNIS, UNFPA, WHO, UNICEF, Global Fund. So far, we are receiving some feedback. With regards to UNIS, we'll be having a meeting with them next week. They've written to us to schedule a meeting to look at partnership. So we encourage our partners to actually spread the word with regards to Icasa funding and support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. You have seen Chris responded very well to your question, but I just want to clarify a few things. MPI is meeting professional industry. is a platform for professional organizer of conferences. When you have a conference more than 1,000, 2,000, and you are not a member of the LPI, you cannot get the latest update in terms of organizing meeting. And based on that, we revamped Icasa program. And if you want to have satellite session, 45 minutes is enough to make a point, really. And we like people to go to the point. It's not a talking show business. You know, we need to bear that in mind. That's one. As regard to the donors, we are engaging all the partners from the US system and also for our private sector. It's a continuing process. At the beginning of this meeting yesterday, Gordon presented the progress report. In the progress report, there is the response of Professor Zenken inside, because we see where we are based on our strategic plan, right? The progress report shows that we are not doing too well. Not us, but you too, because you are not advertising the conference. You know, that's the problem. You are all ambassadors of this conference, but you are not doing your job. We, as a secretariat, we are sending you documentation, but you are not escalating the documentation. You are not sending it to your various platform. You know, we cannot be everywhere. This is why you are here as the ambassador of the conference, as a member of the security for this conference, so that we can have the tangible success for 2025. And we encourage you, please, all the documentation that we have been forwarding to you, send it to your various platforms. And if you have a tangible donor or a tangible partner, send it to us directly so that we can engage the person. I will take this opportunity to thank Dr. Aldo here presently. You know, he was he's still very active, you know, engaging us with the various partners, you know, across the globe. If I can have him like a 10 in this gathering, I believe that before Icasa, before December, we will reach our target. You know, I want us really to engage ourselves. You know, this is what I want to do this, sir. Thank you.
How you go down? If I'm commanding, say,
Sir, Mr.
Call for abstract.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Je pense que Luc vient de mentionner, mais nous, par exemple, au Togo, on a créé un groupe pour la participation à Icasa, surtout que c'est après. Et on a vu que la plupart des systèmes des Nations Unies ou autres n'avaient pas beaucoup de ressources. Donc, ce qu'on a fait, c'est plutôt d'aller vers le secteur privé. Il y a des secteurs privés au niveau national, mais aussi au niveau régional. Et on a déjà des promesses pour justement la prise en charge de certains participants, surtout quand les sujets les intéressent. Donc, je pense qu'il faut vraiment qu'on change. Il y a quelques années, je crois qu'il y a 10-15 ans, on avait fait ça. On avait impliqué le secteur privé au niveau régional continental et on a eu des contributions. Donc, je crois qu'il faut qu'on cherche des stratégies là-dessus. En tout cas, nous, on est vraiment sur la bonne voie au niveau du Togo. Merci.
Thank you, Dr. Messler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to focus again on the issue for member registration, because it's an issue. I contacted the support service and they send me different links. None of them is working. Then I'm not sure that it's coming from the user. I'm quite sure it's a security problem that is faced by the system at the beginning. Then look on that and see how we can manage that. Thank you. Another contribution that I wanted to have is that in this period of constrained financial means, perhaps it will be important to think again about important decisions that can be making in terms of participation, as we are dealing also with all the ecological aspects and so on. We can also look about the fact that perhaps the virtual and hybrid participation may be something really important in addition to other initiatives at the public and public-private collaboration. I don't think it's something that we are also working on with our own programs, seeing how we are going to deal with all these financial constraints. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Right in the corner there.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Mr. President. Since speaking, what I wanted to say was hammered by Luke. And I think looking at a lot of initiatives going on in each country, particularly in Nigeria, Mali, Ghana, that I work, participation is still to me very low, even with regard to previous Icasas. Many organizations like UNA, like UNFPA are doing a lot of interventions in country, and I think majority of these donor-funded interventions should also sponsor their young people or their the beneficiaries of their projects to Icasa, so that these people will be able to. This is a platform for us to learn from best practices. It is not a jamboree. We need to learn and go back home and implement what some people are doing in their countries, in our country, to better the lots. It's not jamboree. So we need more participations, we need more sponsorship. There are many people doing a lot of interventions. Probably they are not even having any donor funding. And yes, they have nowhere to share their best practices. They have nowhere to listen to best practices that can enhance their performance even when they go back to their countries. So please, I don't know what we can do. Countries that are very close to the Ghana this time should even take advantage of the closeness to mobilize their participants. If the cost of flight tickets, for instance, in Nigeria is limiting participation or registering people on such projects, let us put them on the road. I can first, let's put them on the road, let them come here, let them go to their country, and then let them, what do we say, the cost of flight ticket can take care of about 10 more people coming by road, and it's going to be a caravan. Enjoy the stopover, have activities like we did the other time in 2017, youth caravan. So we can do the same even from other neighboring countries, and all of us can at this conference. Let's support these people. Let's mobilize resources. In fact, it's not about this coming conference. Let us have. I'm talking to international donor organizations.
Okay, I like your passion. I think you're medium.
You understood?
Medium.
Thank you.
Yes, madam.
Good morning. I just want to add to what is. We have a number of initiatives across the globe implementing countries. And many of these networks are implementing or related, have something to do with TB, HIV, and malaria, universal health coverage, SRH. So my recommendation would be to map up those networks, because a number of them reach out to me because they are very much interested in Icasa. They want to use a Icasa platform to engage and do a lot of things. So my suggestion is to try as much as possible to map up those platforms. For example, IANASO, GIFAN Africa, we have GIFAN Asia, we have different networks. I can give some to you, look. Let's write officially to them because they have a very large membership, and many of them are from developing countries, developed countries who are part of it. The vice chair knows what I'm talking about. So that we can start doing that, I can take it up to those that I know. I've already shared information with them last week. And so I will take it up and continue working. We also have SWA in most of the African countries, so we can also reach out to our SWA members. Thank you.
SWA. Okay, thank you so much. Maybe Chris, you want to respond?
Okay, thank you very much. With regards to the link, I'll work closely with my colleagues from the IT team to ensure that the links are working. Also, with regards to the virtual or hybrid suggestion, yes, Icasa 2025 is a hybrid conference, that's in-person and virtual. However, we noticed that this time around, there are more physical, in terms of the report coming in, physical registration. However, we'll make sure we emphasize on the virtual as well. We also made provision for virtual scholarship for participants as well. Then we take all the recommendation with regards to writing to the network into consideration. Just after the conference, I'll liaise with Madam, I believe that's Madam Cecilia Lodun with regards to the various networks. Thank you very much.
Chris, you want to get something?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to add that since 2021, Icasa has been an hybrid meeting. Since we posted Icasa 2021 in Durban, during the COVID period, since that time, Icasa is always hybrid. It's not a physical meeting, it's hybrid meeting. And Icasa 2023 was hybrid, and Icasa 2025 will also be hybrid. But I would like to thank Dr. Mestre for our initiative. I want us to think about it. Let us engage more the private sector than the US system. We should move away from the common business that we used to do. We know that it's always the US system where we go to when we are coming to conferences. But we have our private system. We have what we call the corporate social responsibility for various private sector in our country. We should go back to that, and see how they can fund our activity. This is what really I want to emphasize on, because Dr. Morenike, they talk about it. The last point is that, please, you all have your various networks. You have it. Use it to patronize this conference. Thank you. Yeah, exactly what Madam Cecilia said. It made really relevant sense, and we are looking forward to have the various link so that we engage them accordingly. Thank you. Yeah, the whole of the whole cross country is really to support the visibility of the conference, to make sure that they bring people from their various regions. If I'm very sure that in Ghana here we have 16 regions. It means that the 16 regions should be represented at Icasa, and this is the government and the people from Ghana that's supposed to make this thing happen. And the third point is that they need to follow the program so that what is going on in Ghana here should be transmitted to the conference. That's very, very important. The local content depends on the host country. We cannot post Icasa here and we don't know what is going on in Ghana. It will not be fair enough. Visibility rests upon the government and upon the people of Ghana. Thank you.
I think Steve wants to comment.
Okay, so thank you very much, Director and President. Yesterday, after the presentation, we've had some meetings, and we are going to come out with a plan. We will be working with the Secretariat to ensure this visibility. It's possible that we may even have a roadshow, something to activate this. And we'll be working with some media partners to come down to the time with a clear program, have some sessions to increase the awareness as far as this conference is concerned. We're also going to work at mobilizing our people. We're just hoping that our people will not come and fill the whole place so that our visitors will not get a space. But we'll be doing this with you so that we can manage it and there will be a good balance, because this is for the whole continent. But we'll do everything possible to demonstrate that we are hosting you all. Thank you very much.
Well, I would like to thank you for religiously coming to this meeting, the two of you particularly. And it's really good for us to have the Ghanaians host country. So yeah, so we know that we're not going offside. Yeah, I saw a hand up there in Nyarazu.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, I think I saw a flat fee for the hosting country of $300 US. So I wanted to find out if that is feasible for students from the medical school, for example. Are they paying the same registration fee like consultants like Kwesi and Margaret here? Because I think in Zimbabwe, we ended up having a very reduced fee, a registration fee for students and other lower cadres. So kindly explain that, or yeah, can you kindly talk about that?
Respond, Chris, before Steven comes in.
Thank you very much. As you can see, the Icasa fees are already on the high. That's why we made sure that for the host country, we discount it at $300 US. However, I know that the host country is putting strategies in place to provide scholarship for the youth and students as well. Thank you very much.
This is why we give majority support to you in terms of scholarship. That's one. And also, if you have best impact, we give you also scholarship. It was but this is why we always, for the host country, we always advertise on that so that the government can provide at least 500 scholarship for them. Saying that as regards to the fee for Icasa, let me inform you, since 1915, we did not take Icasa fees. Yeah, 2015, we did not increase the Icasa fees because we know the situation in our own setting. We did not. You can go back to the past Icasas, you will notice that this fee has been there since 2015. And we are not ready to increase it. This is why we start to maximize what we call fund mobilization. We need to mobilize funds to fund our people. Because when I show you the budget, you will even notice that this fee cannot cover the country. It's not possible. If you don't mobilize funds, there's no way we can post it. That's one. And two, if you don't have the government support, there's no way we can post it. Let me be. Don't think that this is too much. No, it's just a token money to show commitment for various stakeholders, for this platform to contribute to the equity for all. Thank you.
This topic. Yeah, yes, Dr.
Good morning. So you said we are regarded as the ambassadors of the center. Isn't that correct? If I could so from a marketing and a partnership point of view, I think for I speak for myself and the other delegates who come from key population communities, is that word out there about Ghana with a bill that's hanging doesn't sell the conference very well to the partners and funders of key populations, which they raise particular question. So my question to you is, what is there in place, or how are you planning to put measures and systems in place to guarantee that safety and security for communities who are criminalized in their own countries, then come into this space with whatever information that is out there, some of it not fact checked, I want to point out clearly. So that when we as the ambassadors are going back, we are saying, you know what, this is what the Icasa committee is planning. These are the systems in place, so that we can then really push for participation and attendance from our communities. and alleviate some of those concerns that they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tati. I think it's an important consideration, an important question. I know that when we met the former president about those matters, he was very forthcoming in terms of providing for a conducive environment within Ghana. But that question can only be answered by Ghana.
I think I can assure you that Ghana is very ready and will provide a very convenient and safe environment for every delegate who is coming. We've had extensive discussion on this. I'm sure your concerns have to do with some of the things you heard about the certain bills and all that. And from the perspective of the program, we have worked already to assure the communities. And because of that, service is continuing. There's no interruption of service. We are engaging them. And this bill has not seen the light of day. And we don't expect that it to come and interrupt what we are doing. For the sake of this conference, even as part of all the efforts to make sure that this is a very friendly and warm environment for everyone, we don't intend to project things associated with it. So rest assured, and I think I'm speaking on authority on behalf of the country to assure everyone who intends to come here, irrespective of who you are, gender and all that, you will be welcome. And we are working with the state and the security services to ensure that nobody will be harassed and everything will happen in a very smooth and safe manner. So please rest assured. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Addo. That's very reassuring. Look, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Dr. Addo. You know very well as the state utility that we don't host Icasa in the Western environment. It's not possible. You know, we host Icasa always when the environment is conducive. And it's not the first time that we sometimes notice when we are unfolding the Icasa program, we notice that things are wrong. And at the last minute, 3 months to 6 months to the event, we can remove the conference from the country if things are not working according to our criteria to host Icasa. You know, I believe that at this stage, we don't need to be bothered about Ghana because we have our own secretariat here since 2009, and we did not see any witchcraft or any wish from we did not see anybody go after people. We did not see it exactly. We did not see it, and we believe that with the new government under the leadership of the president John Dramani Mahama, we will be safe, and we have one of the best meeting here in Ghana because our headquarters is here and the government is with us on it. Rest assured that the atmosphere will be conducive to host Icasa. You know that before we can host Icasa, we have some criteria. You know, we come back to that when we're doing the presentation. Thank you.
Rafael?
Thank you so much, colleagues. I think when we discuss sensitive issues like the criminalization of certain populations in some of our countries, we need to be fair and also allow for the affected populations to speak for themselves. I don't disagree, Luke, with how safe it is, but it would have been a great sign of confidence for us in the community if a person from the people's community was to speak about on this and give us some assurance that it's okay here. I know I've spoken to some key populations people, but sometimes lived experiences is much different. They won't chase me.
I want to call one of my colleagues. Feature, is Feature in the room? Feature? Do you have feature in the room? Please, can you respond to this? Thank you. Feature is one of our staff at the secretariat side and is in charge of early warning system and is in charge of all key population in the program. Please, feature, can you highlight a bit the room so that there will be at peace? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I work with the LGBTQ plus community and other key population, and we all know that there is an introduction of a bill in the Ghanaian parliament that the previous president didn't sign, and then but it's still uncertain. There has been quite conversation about it from the current president Mahama, who is seeking to reintroduce the bill to the parliament and making it a government bill instead of a private member's bill. In the general public, there is a lot of hostility towards the key population, which we are monitoring the situation. There are quite a number of reports that is sitting in the email that we have sent to the SAR Secretariat that they are monitoring the development. We are also currently working with other stakeholders that are supposed to make sure that there are signs and things that can regulate any unforeseen situations. And so I wouldn't say that there is no problem related to key population, especially the LGBTQ plus community in Ghana. But what I will say is that I am working currently with the organizers of Icasa. So I currently go to the office every day to make sure that these issues are being handled or kept under control. That's my responsibility. That's what I can say now.
I want to get it right. Are you working well with the community?
Yes.
Okay, so that's really what you want to hear.
I work a lot with key population. Currently, my organization is implementing the Global Fund intervention with commercial sex workers. And what I want to just assure the floor is that despite all this, there are a lot of security measures that are put in place by all partners and the government, as Dr. Isi said. The important thing is that Ghana is aware of this. The government is aware, parliamentarians are aware of this. As I said, there's a lot of engagement. We'll be meeting parliamentarians on this. And we'll be meeting the Minister for Health, who is also an advocate, civil society advocate. And the interesting thing is that the president himself is an advocate. He has been in the NGO sector and he knows all this. When he was called to pass the bill, the first thing he told them was that the bill has expired. And that alone is an assurance that despite all the push from people, he's still looking at it from the safety side of the citizens. Because whether LGBTQ or general population, they are all part of Ghanaians, and their security and their safety, and all visitors must be protected, which is enshrined in our constitution. So I don't see that. I think the Global Fund and all other partners are really working very hard with the government to ensure that the country is safe, especially for this meeting. The government institutions are very strong advocating. So again, we want to assure you that there is a lot of systems that we are putting in place. I think the important thing is to work together. Let's work together and don't let us work in silos so that we can move forward and ensure safety of our people. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you. I think I've also worked with key population and LGBT. I work with an LGBT organization, and we've done a lot of MSM interventions over the years. I must say that we've not had any raid in terms of programming, because government and then the police are aware of our program. Challenges that have not come in terms of programs like these. It has come when people suspect that people are organizing things that are outside such interventions. That is the only situations we've had raids or police or attacks or anything. So personally, I would say that we should be safe if we come and then we follow and then we are coming for Icasa. I think everybody should be safe. I can assure you that.
Thank you very much. I think we will go by what Dr. Stephen Adore said. We get that reassurance from the Ghanaian government through you that things will go on well, and that our President Mahama, and we hope to meet him before we leave, so that we also get a double assurance. You, Brian. Okay, just a quick one, Brian. We really need to close this one now.
I think, thank you so much, President. I think it's just to acknowledge the work that Icasa, including the partners in Ghana, are working towards this. Just want to reiterate that in Zimbabwe, we brought 1,500 key populations that the key populations organization paid for. So speaking about numbers, as a percent of increase. That's why we are asking all these questions, but really acknowledging the work that is being done by Icasa Secretary. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Chris, thank you so much. I think now you can take your seat. We now go to the next item on our agenda, which is a presentation of abstract reviewers by Scientific Program Chair, Professor.
Merci, le Président, pour la parole. Je crois qu'à chaque conférence, on a besoin d'intervention des lecteurs pour nous assurer de la qualité de toutes les présentations qu'on va présenter à la conférence. Ainsi donc, en ce qui concerne cette édition 2025, on a procédé à l'appel aux lecteurs. Les lecteurs qui vont revoir, qui vont relire, qui vont coter les textes qui seront soumis à lecture. Alors, les exigences, comme on peut le signaler, en ce qui concerne d'abord le résumé, nous avons deux options. Il y a une option pour les aspects scientifiques, vraiment recherche scientifique, et l'autre possibilité concerne les évidences sur les observations apprises sur le terrain. Alors, ceci a déjà été présenté lors des webinaires, mais je crois qu'il faut, comme on dit, la répétition est la mère de la science. Donc, nous allons juste le rappeler très rapidement, n'est-ce pas, qu'en ce qui concerne la première option, il faut évidemment respecter tout ce qu'on apprend dans les universités, n'est-ce pas, en termes de publication, scientifiques. Donc, le texte doit bien exprimer le contexte, il doit bien décrire la méthodologie, les résultats doivent être bien présentés. Et la conclusion là-dessus, nous insistons sur le fait que les conclusions doivent nous amener à une implication sur l'avenir. Qu'est-ce que le travail scientifique qui aura été présenté pourra avoir comme implication pour améliorer le travail? Là, alors, en ce qui concerne la deuxième option, là, évidemment, nous comptons sur les évidences. On aura fait une observation sur le terrain et nous aimerions que tout ça soit bien clair en ce qui concerne d'abord les enjeux, c'est-à-dire par rapport à la question qui a été abordée, la description de l'observation, Hein, il faut évidemment qu'on ait la possibilité, éventuellement, si on est sur le terrain, de pouvoir les vérifier, les leçons apprises, donc à la suite de cette observation, et surtout nous amener encore une fois sur le futur. Quelles sont les prochaines étapes, n'est-ce pas, autour de cette observation. Là. Alors, donc, comme je disais, tout ceci avait déjà été présenté lors du webinaire, c'est toujours une répétition. Mais maintenant, en ce qui concerne les lecteurs proprement dit, ils sont appelés de faire un travail du point de vue anonyme et ils vont couvrir pratiquement le monde entier. Donc, les lecteurs sont, comment dirais-je, consultés selon leur candidature. Hein, on n'a pas de restrictions par rapport au pays. Le travail est confidentiel. Donc, celui qui doit faire la lecture travaille selon sa conscience et les résultats doivent être transmis directement, n'est-ce pas, à qui de droit. Donc, chaque résumé doit avoir une attribution, doit être soumis à 3 lecteurs, lesquels vont donner des notes. Donc, il y aura 3 notes chaque fois pour un texte. Et les résumés sont faits selon les critères prédéterminés, dont la cotation va de 1 à 6, donc pour chaque item. Et c'est la moyenne donc qui sera finalement le résultat final à transmettre à qui de droit. Slide. Alors, en ce qui concerne l'option 1, ceci s'adresse évidemment au lecteur. Le contexte comprend l'énoncé du problème et une question objective de recherche. La méthodologie, nous insistons vraiment là-dessus, la méthodologie doit être rigoureuse. Ça veut dire qu'elle doit donner les détails sur la conception de l'étude, le cadre de l'étude, la population étudiée, les collectes des données et les variables étudiées, ainsi que les outils d'analyse. C'est très important, nous insistons là-dessus. Le poids que pèse la méthodologie dans tout le travail. Les résultats présentés doivent être clairement donnés et surtout en relation avec l'objectif du travail ou l'objectif donc de l'étude qui aura été menée. Et la conclusion doit évidemment être consécutive de ce qui a été trouvé. Donc, il faut la conclusion. Il y a une concordance entre tout le travail et la conclusion. Et un point important, c'est de savoir si ce travail est original ou pas. Donc, dans la mesure où le travail est original, ça fait une bonne cotation. En ce qui concerne l'option 2, donc pour ceux qui auront fait une observation sur le terrain, encore une fois, il faut bien énoncer le problème, la question de recherche, et bien expliciter la mise en œuvre du projet qui aura été l'objet de l'observation et savoir si c'est adapté aux objectifs qui auront été énoncés. Les leçons apprises ou les bonnes pratiques doivent refléter l'importance de ce qui a été fait au cours de travail et la conclusion, encore une fois, doit être bien étayée et surtout en ce qui concerne l'application, c'est la possibilité de pouvoir réaliser cela sur le terrain, donc de reproduire éventuellement pour quelqu'un qui voudrait vérifier. L'originalité reste un critère important, n'est-ce pas, pour le travail, ainsi que contribuer à la mise en œuvre ou au travail dans le futur. Bien. Alors, voici la grille de cotation, de travail. la cotation, comme on l'a dit, ça va de 1 à 6. On suppose que 6, c'est vraiment un travail impeccable, n'est-ce pas, qui mérite que tout le monde, dont tout le monde doit prendre conscience. Alors, vous avez les deux premiers. C'est un travail faible. Si vous n'avez que la cotation, ça veut dire en principe, on dira merci à l'auteur. Et peut-être avec 2, on peut encore discuter pour savoir si on peut présenter ce travail ou pas. Alors, vous avez la cotation 3 qui correspond à ce qui peut être publié. Et donc, à ce moment-là, on pourrait proposer cela à une présentation si vous arrivez à 4. Et c'est en fait au cours de 5 et 6 qu'on a la possibilité de considérer que ce travail peut être présenté à la limite dans les séances à venir. Alors, toutes ces cotations à partir d'un travail vont être mises ensemble et pour donner une moyenne. Et c'est à partir de la moyenne que nous allons finalement dispatcher les différents articles qui auront été présentés. Pour les articles qui ont été parmi les mieux cotés, ça veut dire autour de 5 à 5,5 à 6, en principe, c'est dans des articles qu'on va proposer à la présentation orale. Alors, évidemment, dans la catégorie plus bas, de 1 à 2,4, c'est soit rejeté, soit proposition d'être rejeté. Mais les autres, évidemment, peuvent se gérer en termes d'affiches, soit dans les posters, soit des articles proposés dans la diffusion. Bien. Voilà, donc les lecteurs sont appelés à proposer leur candidature et cet appel a déjà été lancé depuis le 28 février et la période court jusqu'au disons, au 30 mai 2025. Et donc, au retour, s'il vous plaît, vous connaissez certainement des scientifiques de très bon niveau auxquels il faut comment poser le problème et voir s'ils veulent participer à la lecture des textes qui auront été soumis. Alors, encore une fois, je crois que ça revient souvent. Qu'est-ce qu'on peut espérer en retour? Ce qu'on peut espérer en retour, c'est que pour ceux qui ont fait le travail, il y a la possibilité, comme on l'a signalé tout à l'heure, n'est-ce pas, la réduction de 10% sur le frais d'inscription pour celui qui voudrait participer à Icasa, mais à titre personnel, ou une inscription gratuite lorsqu'on peut être partisé en tant que délégué virtuel. Donc, une inscription gratuite pour ceux qui veulent travailler en ligne, n'est-ce pas, lors de la conférence, ou alors pour ceux qui veulent venir en présentiel, n'est-ce pas, une réduction de 10% sur le frais d'inscription. Et à l'issue de ce travail, chaque lecteur recevra un certificat, n'est-ce pas, de la conférence. Voilà. Et enfin, vous avez le lien pour poser votre candidature ou qu'il faut transmettre à ceux qui sont intéressés, n'est-ce pas? Il suffit de cliquer sur le lien en anglais ou en français, et donc vous pouvez directement introduire votre candidature. Voilà, Monsieur le Président, l'essentiel, ce qui est de l'appel au lecteur pour le résumé.
Thank you, Professor. Any questions? Any comments? Yes, Professor Shakwan.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup pour cette excellente présentation, c'est très clair. Mais
Je pense également que les abstracts est un élément très important de la conférence, que nous devons tous travailler à améliorer la qualité des abstracts. Et ce que je propose en synergie avec d'autres initiatives qui ont été lancées par la Société africaine anti-sida, qui sont réellement, on a lancé l'initiative Comment rédiger un abstract, un programme également de reviewers qui vont aider les jeunes chercheurs et médecins à améliorer la qualité de leur abstract, et également le lancement prévu du journal de la société sera, dont le lancement est prévu pour la prochaine Icasa en décembre 2025. Je propose également de faire ou de programmer des webinaires pour les lecteurs sélectionnés, pour leur donner des directives claires, précises, afin également de rehausser un petit peu la barre peut-être de l'évaluation et d'aboutir à de meilleurs abstracts, et également de sélectionner peut-être les abstracts les plus aptes ou, pour être publiés dans le futur journal. Je pense que former les lecteurs est un point également très important. Ça va nous aider à sélectionner les meilleurs et à améliorer et à élever donc le niveau de qualité des abstracts présentés. Et avec ça, donc, on va élever le niveau de la recherche sur notre continent. Merci.
Very good points. Yeah. Any other comments?
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Je pense que c'est très important qu'on puisse faire un webinaire ou deux webinaires pour les lecteurs de d'abstracts. Et il ne faut pas oublier que normalement, le deadline pour les abstracts, c'est le 30 mai. Donc, ce qui veut dire que si on doit faire quelque chose, ça va être le mois d'avril. Donc, Monsieur le Vice-président, voyez votre emploi du temps, votre programme, et proposez-nous deux dates. Une date début avril et une date fin avril. Conférence des abstracts pour la conférence 2025 Ghana. Merci.
Thanks, Luke. Any other comments? Professor, do you want to say anything?
Non, pas grand-chose, Monsieur le Président. J'ai noté que nous devons absolument renouveler les webinaires pour être plus proche des candidats potentiels, et nous allons nous appliquer à ce que, avec le comité, évidemment, de le faire. Merci.
Thank you so much. Let's now go to our next agenda item. As you know, Icasa is held every 2 years. Every 2 years. 2025, 2023, 2021, 2019, and so on and so forth. The next one, of course, after Ghana will be 2027. I'm going to ask Luke to call for a country bid for 2027, Icasa 2027.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Normally, I'm supposed to do this presentation, but we have the governor of Ghana here that bidded for Icasa 2025. I want him to come and do this presentation because he know how he managed to pass the bill, to pass Icasa, to win the Icasa 2025 conference. Hello, Dr. Ado, please come and join me here. Yeah, now I will support you.
All right, thank you very much. This is a very transparent, let me say, first of all, a very, very transparent process, which gives the opportunity to all countries to attempt to submit a bid. So as you can see, the society is on this occasion inviting all African countries to take advantage of this opportunity to host. We have not hosted yet, but we are so much elated and in high spirits. And we hope to set the bar very, very high in such a way that the next country will have no alternative but to either maintain it or still do better. So every country will be requested to submit documents to the South Secretariat in Accra. And in essence, the bid is supposed to be your proposition of how you feel capable as a country to host the conference. You have to be able to convince the Secretariat that you have what it takes, especially the political leadership and all the resources available to be able to ensure a successful bid. So the closing date for submission of application is 31st of July, 2025. 31st of July, 2025. So even before Icasa in Ghana in December, you should have submitted your bill, your bid. The 24th edition of Icasa will be organized, and that will be the 36th year of SAR. I'm happy to indicate that SAR is 35 years on this occasion as we host, and we hope that the events around that will also culminate into the new one. So on this occasion, after you have submitted your bid, based on the eligibility and all that, there's a criteria that you need to follow. You will be shortlisted. But let me summarize the criteria. There must be a very strong support, financial commitment, political will to host. And remember that we need a venue that will not seat less than 5,000. We are hoping that after this experience in Ghana, maybe we should even be looking at 10,000 and more. So if you're able to demonstrate that you have the capacity to host up to 10,000 from 5,000 and 7 breakaway rooms with a capacity for 150 to 1,500 seats. The country that is successful must provide financial support for the local secretariat and then also provide scholarship for at least 500 local participants. There ought to be accommodation available to not less than 10,000 participants for the conference. There should be a good transportation network linked to the venue, proposed venue of the conference. There must be a good telecommunication network also in that host country. And there must be demonstrable team of scientists, leaders in health, civil society, organized persons living with HIV, private sector youth, and various important stakeholders in the country. You will notice that without these groups and these individuals and organizations, your bid will not be successful. You need to demonstrate that you are working with all these groups and they are all going to be stakeholders because this is a country-led process. It's not an individual-led process. So additional criteria include easy access by air and by road where needed. I was very happy when I heard my colleague in Nigeria saying that they're going to mobilize people to come by road, people in Lome and all that. I think it would even be better than the air, but it should be easy for access by air and road. recognizable presence of government organization responsible. In Ghana, we have the Ghana Health Commission working with the Ghana Health Service Ministry of Health, a good security network, and country must guarantee easy visa facility and assistance for participants. And as we have been discussing this morning, the country must be open and willing to welcome every recipient of care. Everybody, minority groups, everybody is included. Nobody should be left behind in the process because we are talking about HIV, which respects no one. There must be political stability and no discriminatory policies. And I want to take this opportunity to affirm that there is nothing like that in Ghana. And that country that will be successful in 2027 must follow the same example. So the detailed bid documents and the intent and all that, the evidence for each actually will be submitted, will be presented. In fact, when the bid is announced on the website, the other documents that are needed will be posted so that you have access and then you'll be able to take advantage. The next slide will give us a link to that. And if you look at page 100 of the working document for this meeting, the details are also there. I wish to state that every country has equal opportunity to host. There is no partiality. And don't see yourself as incapable because maybe you see other names. I've noticed that the society is very open to ensuring that every region of our continent gets the opportunity and it contributes to enlightenment of participants because wherever we go to, we benefit from the hospitality and the cultural environment of that country. And we are hoping that the next country that will hand over the baton to in 2027 will provide all that it takes for a successful conference. I want to thank you all for your attention, and I wish the countries that are bidding well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ado. Well articulated, and I think Ghana satisfies all those requirements. So, any comments, any questions, any clarifications needed? Any country that wants to bid 2027? Yeah.
Thank you. Just to clarify that Icasa 2027 for the bid is in page 63 to 65, the working documents, not page 100.
Yes, I saw that up there. Yes. Lady back. Yes. Yes. Can you give me?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. J'avais une question à propos des critères qui sont proposés. Tout au long du débat, nous avons suivi que Icasa, c'est une conférence qui offre la visibilité au pays. Alors, si dans la politique d'un pays, on veut organiser Icasa, mais en ayant des poules suivant les thématiques qui sont proposées, est-ce que cela peut être possible de le faire, par exemple, dans une ville? On prend des dispositions pour faire dans 3 villes avec 3 thématiques différentes. Est-il possible?
Okay, thank you for that question. Any other comment? Yes.
Okay, it's working now. Thank you very much, Chair. One of the biggest challenges that I think a number of people face who are hosting, the delegates face when going to a host country is the whole issue of immigration, the visa accessibility. And I know that there have been Icasas where certain countries have faced a big problem in terms of access. And then secondly, what has transpired of late, I've noticed for those of us who travel a lot, is that the visa has now become an economic activity for countries. I just want to give an example of my own country coming to Ghana, that they have limited their visas to 3 months, meaning every time one is coming from for this international steering committee meeting, you have to pay over $100 every 3 months. So for the 4 times I'll come to Ghana, it means I'm gonna pay, and if you're doing an express, you pay 120. So it means that every 3 months you're getting a new visa. And I just want some comfort from our organizing team here, what they're gonna do in terms of visa, including even exemptions for some of these people. Have there been any discussions between the organizing team here and your immigration team in terms of visa access, and maybe giving a special ear to the Icasa conference so that we are not paying so much money for just a simple visa for 3 months? That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, I don't know whether you have had any discussions as well and training between yourselves and the customs people. I just want to give an example of what we went through arriving at the airport just this time around, where a little young man had to divert us. No, you have to talk to our bosses and so on. And I was asked, what do you do for a living? I said, you're harassing a whole professor. And I walked away. But, because I could do that, how many people can do that? In fact, I was expecting this guy to come after me, but he just let me, maybe said, this woman. But I think these are important for hosting of a conference like this. And I just want comfort, whether there's even any training programs that are being arranged with the customs people to ensure that they don't start harassing people at the airport. Also, in terms of immigration, what is going to happen to the whole issue of visas? Thank you.
Okay, Sheila?
Thank you, Chairperson. Mine is just a prayer, I guess. I really would like to see, I thought the Vice President was going to talk about that. I would like to see Icasa being hosted in North Africa. So is there any miracle we can do in any of those countries? Like Egypt and Asia. For hosting. Thank you.
You want North Africa? Yes. Yes, I know. Raphael?
I just wanted to say, Ghana is visa free for all Africans. Where are we paying? It is. The new president announced it's visa free for everyone in Africa.
Okay, it will be clarified. So, 2 questions we'll answer. Look on the venue and training. Can you quickly?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to inform our esteemed member of the security meeting that, we since the first day committee meeting till now, we are having what we call a period of from the new government, from the
transition
period. Yeah, we are in the transition period, right? And talking about visa, talking about training, we talk about all these things. One, we have the university in place. we are yet how the local secretariat is. We just form now the local committee and you are seeing them working. In fact, let me congratulate Bob and all of them that are here, because they put the local committee leader in few days, send this administration to go back to change, positively, Then what I want to say is that training all this will come. We do generally do training, 6 months during events with the local secretariat. We do training for officer at the airport, and we do training also for some hotels so that they know how to meet the guests that are coming. Okay, saying that for organizing Icasa in in 3 cities, Icasa is not possible because if you see the way Icasa is structured, you cannot organize Icasa in 3 cities. It cannot work because people cannot, even if it, for example, how can you organize Icasa in 3 cities if you are in Kinshasa? It's not possible because of traffic. You cannot even move from one place to another place. But saying that the structure of Icasa cannot allow you because we need to be in one place and move fast from one session to another session. You have just 15 minutes to move from one session to another session, which means that Icasa will always manage this to be the same setting. You know what I mean? First of all, for visibility and for network, and logistics also. Yeah. Now the talk about training. Yeah, Minister Vice President, it's time that we should post Icasa in the northern part of Africa. And also, Sheila had said, we posted Icasa in the northern part, the first Icasa, one of the first Icasa in Marrakesh, long ago. I think I was not done that time, but I really. Thank you.
Can you respond to the other questions? The visa one.
The visa, well, so, okay, so we've taken note of it. I consider it as a feedback. And once we put things in place, the Secretariat will be engaging the Ministry, Foreign Affairs Ministry. If you notice, during the earlier engagement, we brought on board the Ghana Tourism Board and all of them. In fact, this will be a state thing. So we'll be negotiating based on the details. And this is part of the reason why we are here, so that we take up some of this feedback. As far as I'm concerned, quite a number of countries is visa-free to Ghana. But we'll get the details and understand what is happening so that when we engage the authorities, we can be more definite about the assistance we need, for this important event.
Okay, thank you. I saw another hand. Yes. Yeah.
Just a further feedback in terms of IEC materials. It has become a problem, especially in the host country, where delegates are requested to pay for import duty when they are moving in with t-shirts or banners. They are confiscated by the airports. So on top of the trainings, I also propose that a conversation with the tax authority and to get an assurance that materials that are going to be brought in by delegates are not for any economic benefit, and how can there be an arrangement to allow those materials to be taken in the country for free?
Okay. Thank you. Any other for the response? Right. Look, only to respond.
Yeah, and thank you, Jimmy. For much, yeah, we need to find that. I was just it's not funny, you cannot run at the campus. You can put material at the elevator. And put material at the elevator, nobody will charge. It's part of our the elevator. Nobody so they have got maybe it's okay. They will not charge, but we put material at the participant. They will charge by the is not bad. Even the price we charge, randomly. Then please, when you have to do that, see at the community level, and see if you have a booth. If somebody has a booth, partner with them, so that through that you can sell your material, and you will not pay for that. However, you will pay the clearing fee because we always negotiate with the government. So you not pay the fee, but we pay the clearing fee. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Adol, do you want to add anything?
No, thank you very much. As the lawyers,
Right. And I think, thank you so much. I think that we've exhausted this particular. The next item on our agenda, and we'll move faster now, is the draft budget 2025, the Icasa draft budget 2025, presented by Mr. Luke Bodley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you allow me, let me take the opportunity to thank Dr. Ado because he was not aware that we implemented the call for Icasa 2027. I just take him on the spot. Okay, thank you for that. However, sir, if you allow me, let me inform our esteemed member that in their documentation, we have what we call, before we start my presentation, we have what we call Icasa storytelling video competition. As you know, December will be the 35th anniversary of Society for East Africa. And for that, we don't have enough money to do a jamboree. To invite all of you for drink and food, we don't have it. But we believe that we can do something that can be meaningful, and for that, we launched a competition. And the competition is for people living with HIV/AIDS, so that they can tell their story, And we plan that we should consider two categories. The first category will be for the age bracket from 18 to 35 years old. And when they send their story, we have a juror that we select the best story. And the first best story we have will be awarded with $3,000. Seconded by the second best story, which will be awarded by $2,000 for the first category. And the second category will be from 36 years old and above. And if the best story has been selected, then there will be also awarded $3,000. And the second best will be awarded also $2,000. This is what we are planning for our anniversary. It has been launched yesterday. You have it in your documentation. Please circulate it in your various network so that people will be aware and apply for that, especially people living with HIV. Thank you, sir. I took that time just to explain this. Saying that I'm privileged today to present to you the Icasa budget. Over the years, we try to put the Icasa budget such a way that is tailored to our own situation in Africa. We don't have this much but we are it's on the portal. We are very wealthy in Africa, but at the same time, we are poor because we don't know how to manage our wealth. Right? Saying that the budget that we are proposing, the content will be expenditure, income, and the budget summary. Expenditure about Icasa, the income Icasa. No, this is summary. Can we go to the expenditure? Yeah, the expenditure of Icasa. First of all, the total budget is 3,162,423 extra drive $1 million. Everything that you are seeing there is in dollars, because we manage in dollars to avoid fluctuation. However, for the local expenditure, we manage it in CD as we are here. And we have the post-conference, we have closing, we have the conference, and then we have the post-conference when we are talking about the expenditure of the budget for Icasa 2025. Did you ask for it? And you will notice that we have what we call the establishment of the secretariat and as a constitutional fee, you know, of every consultant and the secretary that we use, you know, is part of that administrative cost. But we don't pay administrative cost for Icasa because we believe that SAR is taking the administrative cost. You will see administrative cost, there's zero, you know, but we have conference management, you know, conference management and information system. That is the software that we use. You know, Icasa is bilingual. Sorry, Icasa is hybrid, is an hybrid building. And don't you have to understand that to organize a conference of 8,000 people, when we have at least 3,000 hybrid, we need development software. And in Africa here so far, we did not develop that software. You know, it means that we are using the software from America and from other parts to hold this meeting. It's very costly. Then you will see that budget line there, item 1.3, and we have the governance of Icasa and trade meeting. The governance of the Icasa and trade meeting is, for example, the meeting that we are hosting today, the trade committee meeting. You know, we invited today more than 35 stakeholders. Let us say that we have 35 international member of the trade committee meeting, and it go with costs because we pay their ticket, we pay everything, you know, so that this meeting can be a successful meeting. And when we are hosting the pre-conference meeting, we don't call for the government to support us. No, we host it from our own area, and we raise funds completely later. And then we have the last meeting that we host here will be the marathon meeting. We will see in 1.5. And this marathon meeting is where we bring the scientists in Africa, especially those ones that are part of the track A, track B, track C, and track E, you know, to cover the abstract. Don't forget that at Icasa, we have more than 3,000 abstracts. You know, last year, 2 years ago, we were having around 4,000 to 6,000 abstracts, you know, and it's not easy, you know. Then we want people to finalize it here. And if you go, you will see the fundraising. The fundraising, you will notice that is 1.6. You know, put some money there. That money is budgeted money because it's important to attend as much as possible all the conference in Africa and across the world to marketing the conference. And when we are going for marketing the conference, we don't go alone. We go with the president, we go with some staff, because it's really a machinery, a mechanism to market the conference. And we pay also what we call booths over there. Sometimes we pay satellite session, you know, to showcase of what we are doing in Africa. And it's a selling point for our conference. And then you will also see promotional communication. Yeah, most of our communication is online. Most of our communication are online. However, we do quite a lot of material when we are going for conferences. We see that point there. And let me go back to the point 1.10, 1.11, volunteer. At Icasa, we cannot host Icasa without volunteer. When we are hosting Icasa, we have a minimum of 150 to 200 volunteers to man the conference, because there is no way we can host Icasa without volunteer. You know, and those volunteers we pay them is not for free. We allow them to learn, first of all, to share to learn, and then to have talking money to go back home, you know, and also we feed them. This one is there. Now we have the closing ceremony or opening ceremony that is vital for that. And at every Icasa, we also have what we call evaluation, audit, and reporting. I will need you to go to the SAR website. You will see all the reports from Icasa 20, from the beginning to the end, till now, right? And the reporting system, we used to do it via, I think we have the head of rapporteur here, but after that, we have some consultants that work on the reports of the system to bring the best out of the conference. These are the expenditure side for Icasa. The expenditure side, the total expenditure that we are planning for this year will be 2,809,623.34 for the total cost for the expenditure. And let me tell you, this expenditure, this budget I'm showing you, does not include the government budget, because the government budget is separate. The government care for the venue, the security of our participants, and also the local delegates. Thank you. Next slide. Expenditure side. Yeah. Today, my colleague Chris show you the marketing strategy for Icasa, and you can see the tangible items that we put in place. Those are items for you to advertise them so that we can generate some income for the conference. You know, those income cannot fit into the Icasa budget, but at least to some extent, it can cover up to 2/3 of the total budget of the conference. Saying that, you know that for the higher income, according to the classification, so far we never increased the CASA fee. You will notice that if you go to rates, you will see the rate that we have. Higher income, 700, we just maintain that one, 800. And based on the past experience of the registration, we classify them by the percentage that we used to have always at every CASA. That is the rationale and also the rationale that we come out with. Then LEFI, we are expecting to have 5% for the LEFI. You will notice that so far, do you have, Clemens, do you have any registration this year? How many registration do you have?
Hello, Mr. Luke, we have 52 so far.
No, registered and paid.
No, not paid yet.
Exactly. This is why at the early stage, we always put 5% of the total. If we go by a projection of having 3,000 people, you can see I put it there, paying participants 3,000. Because this year, with what we are facing, the Icasa, especially with the Trump administration policies, we cannot shoot for 5,000 again. We believe that we can have a tangible 3,000 delegates. And based on that, we projected this budget. Then, if you have 3,000, you will see at A1, then you will see we are proposing 3,000 delegates, and we segregate them based on the percentile, and you see the total cost. It's been that for registration alone, we are planning to have at least 1,747,500 USD for registration. Saying that out of the direct registration, we have what we call a special registration. And the special registration is generally accompanying person, And at Icasa, we don't plan for less than 18 years old. Because when we are hosting Icasa in South Africa in 1911, we faced some challenges with the youth that was less than 18. And based on that, we stopped that when we said, if you are not mature, we are not 18 years old, you cannot attend Icasa. This is why we plan for only 18 and beyond. Then saying that for that, we plan that we should have maximum 120 delegates for that, and the total cost will be $36,000. Then exhibition, these are one of the products that is key for us, that you need to market for us. The exhibition side, we are planning to have a minimum of, let us say, 42 booths. Usually, we do have up to 100 booths. But with the situation, with the economic situation that we are facing now in Africa, I'm not sure that we can project 100 booths again or 200 booths at Icasa. No, I'm projecting 42 booths. If you have more than that, it will be okay. But we plan to have more than that. We count on you guys to patronize them. Then for the 42 booths, we are planning to have at least an income of 346,240 USD. That's for the booth. You can see the projected income for the conference. And then the sponsor. Chris show you that we have various segmentation for sponsor, at least 6. But this time around, we don't think that we can have enough co-sponsor. Usually, if you want to have the floor for the open forum for Icasa, you need to be co-sponsor. It means that you need to pay at least $100,000, at least. But this time around, we are not sure that we can get that one. This is why we plan to have at least one co-sponsor. You will see in the paying side, you will see one co-sponsor, and senior partner 1, partner 2. And where we think that we can make some money tangible is for the satellite station. Because satellite station is there and we don't increase the money, it's the same amount. We did not change it. Both for private sector and also for community. will not change, we maintain it. Then we are planning that for the sponsor, we can project at least $433,000 for that. You know, that is the income side. And the income side, we will notice that the total income for Icasa 2025 projected will be $2,563,840. This is what we are projecting for that. Now, we have seen the projected expenditure and the projected income. Let us go to the summary. Yeah. And the summary side is important that you see that we go with the assumption with 3,000 delegates. You can see in the budget rate side, you know, we put 3,000 delegates there, right? And see the projected income. You will see 2,563,840. And then see the projected expenditure. You will see $3,192,123. Then you will notice that you will have a deficit if we go by 3,000 delegates. This is why I was telling you that even the registration fee and the various items of the conference cannot cover the conference. And don't forget that this budget I'm showing you does not include the government budget. Because if you go down, you will see projected sponsorship package from the Ghana government. That package is there, we are working on it. It's not part of this budget. You know, and the government, they cover the local staff support, they cover the conference venue, and they cover the scholarship for the local. This one we are working on it with the government, is work in progress. Then when we go back to our summary, for the fund that we have to raise here as Icasa, all of you have to raise. It's not the secretary alone, because you are all ambassadors, you are part of this meeting. You have to help us to raise that fund. That fund may not be sufficient to host the conference without the governance. This is why we need to raise more funds so that we can bring people. Because don't forget that we have a heavy scholarship to pay. We are planning to bring at least 500 people in person and give at least 2,000 virtual, depending. Then when we go back again to the summary, you will notice that we have that deficit. However, if everybody to have a breakthrough, let us say we need at least every participant to pay $1,064. You can see it in where I put summary below of 3,000 euro actual cost per participant. If really we want to apply that one, every participant at Icasa to be cost effective, they need to pay $1,064, which is not possible in Africa. Then we count on you so that we can raise funds to compensate and to support every registration that we get. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Luke. I think that budget shows that there is an optimum number of delegates that you need, so that you don't make a deficit.
Yeah.
You know, certainly 3,000 you are going to run into a deficit. And our target here in Ghana is 12,000. 12,000. That's our target. So any comments, any questions? Yes, Professor Joe.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yeah, thank you, Luke, for the great presentation. I think the first thing starts with us here, our membership of SAP. I think we need to emphasize that and maybe put somewhere in there where, you know, to get a scholarship, you must at least have shown that you are a member. You know, in future, I think that's what we need. That's my first point. The second one is actually to thank SAR very much and to really thank you for ensuring that the volunteers are paid an allowance. So don't say we pay them, say we give them an allowance. That way I think the donors will understand, because what is happening at the global level, at EAS, they don't pay volunteers any allowance at all. So I think SAG is really doing a great job in ensuring that these young people or older people, as they are participating and are giving of their time, they're at least comfortable enough to be able to live okay. So I think it's something that I do recommend that we carry it forth. Yeah, it will help quite a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to ask, is there an ongoing membership drive? All right. Hello? Okay, I wanted to find out if there is an ongoing membership drive. I'm just wondering, it seems that a lot depends on also getting members to pay their dues. So what are we doing about membership drive? A lot of us was not doing it.
Okay, thank you so much. I will give the floor to Eno.
No, just wait. Any other comments? Yeah. Oh, yeah, yes, Brian.
I think I just follow up with Take's comments, and I did a Google search here. The average registration fee for any other conference, let's say, for example, AIS in Rwanda coming up is $1,050 for each registration. So seeing that our lowest is $300, I think we really need to give kudos to STAR on the amount that is being budgeted and with the money that's the expenditure that is here. There's a lot of work that is happening behind the scene. So I think it's up to all of us in this to make sure that we canvas all the partners that we work with, that they have more contribution this conference. This is our conference for African problems, our own solution.
Thank you, Brian. All right. I see no other hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. President. Let me first of all, before I will ask my staff, Eno, to respond to the membership. How many, can you raise your hand, how many people are members of pay their fee here in this room? Raise it very well so that we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are 10. That is up to you. If you want this conference and this organization to be vibrant, it's up to you. You are all in the room and you are only 10 paid members. We need to reflect who we are indeed. When it comes to membership, we Africans, we don't pay membership. That's the reality. However, we craft the system such a way that if you attend Icasa, we craft the membership fee inside the Icasa fee. I will take it out. Then if you attend Icasa, it means that you are covered for 1 year membership fee. That is automatic, But Mr. Chair, if you allow me, let me call my colleague here. Hello, can you give us how you are dealing with the membership drive for some? You have the floor. Thank you.
Mr. Luke, thank you very much. So for the staff membership,
Can you stand, please?
so we are currently engaging with our database for those whose membership have expired. We are sending out emails to ask them to renew. And we're also promoting it on our social media platforms as well. One particular one was if you want to join the mentorship program, you have to be a paid member of staff. We send that information out and we keep reminding our database to also renew their membership. For individual, it's $25. And if you're an institution or an organization, as well, it's $150 annually.
Thank you, Enos. And okay. Mr. Chair, Mr. President.
Thank you. Eno, please come for the cash immediately from me right now. Come.
I'm sure that person will pay for 10 years to come.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to encourage them that every meeting, there should be a table for us to pay, because I've been struggling to pay. Even when I registered yesterday, I told them, can I pay for 3 weeks? So, I mean, money is important. I know from Belgium to me. Thank you.
You know what they do? They pass to everyone. They pass to everyone. Don't go to people say that everyone. Okay, thank you, Chair. Because I say you should pass to everyone is better.
My comment is to do with what today the previous speaker also raised, and I did raise it with them yesterday. I think probably the social media, the payment system somehow when you go there, things just don't seem to work well. I don't know what exactly is the problem. I think she will require. I've tried to pay for the last 3 months. There will be a problem. I'll write back that it is asking me for this. So I think there's something I just don't know. I'm not competent to tell you what is exactly the IT issue. Even when it comes to LinkedIn and other things, to try and tag Icasa and to try and tag the society. There is a problem. I demonstrated it to you yesterday. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, let's have it back here.
Thank you. So my question is on the membership guide. I mean, I joined STAR when I was much younger, but I cannot see a lot of the people that I work with as members of STAR. And when you speak to them, it's very abstract. So I don't know. Young members to be part of STAR. The young members are not part of STAR.
Right. Thank you for that contribution. Luke, you want to respond?
Yeah, thank you so much. Prof, you are right, but at the same time, we can balance it because young member they pay $15. And the reality is that when you have event somewhere and you have more than 1,000 people, 500 participants, you need to involve us. So that we can pay membership from that. That's important. We do travel to go anywhere in Africa here and the world for membership, a travel, and also for visibility of our conference, to sell the conference. If you don't invite us for your activity, we lose out. But at the same time, at every Icasa, when the youth come to the community village, they also register for Icasa. But I believe that we should have a strategy and activity to address especially the postgraduate students. Thank you.
Yeah.
As regard to there's one more thing. As regard to the link, I will call Emmanuel. Emmanuel, can you explain what is going on with him?
He's already explained that he's going back to the office. Emmanuel, perhaps?
Yes. I'll sit with him and find out this. Please, I'll consult with Dr. Moya. I'll consult with Dr. Moya and rectify the issue. What's the challenge is? Thank you.
Right, Dr. Ado?
President, I think I have a suggestion. Since Icasa is held every 2 years, the registration is for only 1 year. Why can't it be 2 years? So that you only register again at the next Icasa. If we register now, the next year where there will be no Icasa, then the person's registration expires. And sometimes you have to also benchmark with other conferences. IAS gives you 2 years and all that. So I'm proposing that we should look at that. And then there ought to be activities in between to whip up the interest for members to stay connected. Because if there are events and activities between the conferences, then awareness, top of the mind awareness, the presence there. In addition to the suggestions to build a cohort of young people. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Look, you may need a paper to just give us an outline on how to strengthen continuous membership drive. That's the paper. There are a lot of alternatives. We are going to be having a marathon meeting in August here. And everybody who comes, they should get a sheet of paper to say, are you a member if you are not paid? As they come in August. And that will be start. 2 years is a good idea, but you know, people also join in between. They are joining all the time. So yeah, okay. Yeah, it's all right. I will. Okay. There you are. Yes.
Keep on inside always. I talk and say,
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président, pour la parole.
This might have glitch.
J'ai observé d'autres forums de ce genre, travailler avec des privés qui ont besoin de visibilité, mais qui s'associent à l'événement. Est-ce qu'il est possible de contacter les entreprises privées qui ont besoin de faire de la publicité, de la visibilité et même d'autres organisations, mais qui pourraient donner de l'argent? Parce qu'il y a des entreprises ou des particuliers qui, pour mettre la main à la pâte, ont besoin d'être affichés. Est-ce que au niveau de SAA, avec Icasa, on peut utiliser cette approche? Parce que j'ai vu vraiment des événements presque à 70% financés par des personnes qui viennent pour mettre leur main. Donc, je suggère que Icasa commence à explorer cette possibilité selon le contexte de différents pays. Merci.
There you are. I think our committees are going to go into this organization. It's suggested already done.
Thank you very much, Chair. I agree with Dr. Adu. Participant delegates of 3 years. I think something for all the information. And we have this kind of payments years or and offer, for example, 5 or 10% discount for participants to pay for 3 years. I think we can do that.
This is not a session on resource mobilization.
It's working. Don't mind it.
Thank you very much, Chair. I've just been intrigued by the submission of how you can keep the SAR active. Because I know, for example, the International AIDS Society introduced in between the conferences, for example, a pathogenesis meeting. And that you don't wait for 2 years for the conference for people to remember that we have an organization. So maybe I would like to suggest that we task the team that is looking at the scientific part of this conference and the team that is looking at the community activities and those that are looking at leadership to go beyond what we did yesterday and try and suggest some in-between activities. And just like we had done, we are doing for the 35 years celebration, maybe do a competition to see what activities can be done in between Icasa conference now and the next one, whether you have engaged some scientific activity and or a community activity or leadership, something that will be attractive so that you have ongoing activities. That's my first suggestion. The second suggestion would be, is it possible for us, for SAR to appoint country coordinators so that mobilization of membership is done at country level, and then the membership payments are directed to SAR office? That way you have the continuous membership drive. And I think we should do it at country level and attract as many members as possible by appointing some focal point persons at country level. Thank you.
Okay, you see, we did say that each committee, leadership, scientific, and the community should have a section on resource mobilization. These ideas are coming up. I hope in our committees we should be able to precipitate, to make those suggestions real. Look, do you want to respond?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. It's unfortunate that we could not print our newsletter here, because normally at this meeting we should have the newsletter of SAR so that you can see a lot of activities that we do in between Icasa. That's one. It's a very, very unfortunate because we're cut off at the last minute. We could not print that newsletter. But I believe that the newsletter will come out. We will send it to you virtually, and we also put it out for you for the next meeting. Now, as regard to the 2 years membership fee, association is not about only money. It's about commitment, engagement, personal commitment, engagement. If we collect 2 years every 3 Icasa, we want to engage more people. We want them pay for Icasa, their members. But within Icasa, we engage them so that they can feel the payment that they belong to an organization. So they pay directly. They don't pay membership yet. They don't pay registration to be Icasa, to be SAR member. Because when you pay registration and you are SAR member for the conference, in between, the next year there is no Icasa. Then you need to know that you have to pay the membership fee, and we engage them to see if there is that personal bond within the person and the society. Is a strategy that we put in place. That does not mean that if people want to pay for 3 years, we say no. It is acceptable. You want to pay for 3 years, you are free to do so. Now, as regard to the visibility partnership, we completely agree. We organize a lot of activity in between 2 Icasas. However, generally, we sponsor it directly. It means that from today, we need to start looking for partnership, which is not easy because sometimes in our setting, when you look for partnership for activity that is not related directly to Icasa, you may not get the funding that you need, But we continue working on it so that when we organize webinar, we are organizing any meeting, parallel meeting, which will involve the partnership and see the funding availability at that level. Yeah, but after the meeting, I will get back to you. We started that discussion. Yeah, but now that we are here, you don't talk only. When you are leaving, you drop things. You write to me and we follow up so that we can mobilize funding. Thank you. Now, sir, as regard to I talk about the as country level membership, yeah. I think Dr. Emil and Dr. Melton are here. We have the documentation on it. We developed something, a concept note on it, and we are still working on it because you can see that the landscape in terms of various things are changing. Normally we develop the membership system such a way that we can have through every country, But with what is going on, we are still thinking about how to go about. We have the concept note there, but really it's a deep reflection that we are working on. And soon you will hear from us on that perspective. Now, as regard to let me call upon Gordon to give us key of other activity that we do organize in between 2 Icasas. Just give us 2 or 3 so that people will be aware that we organize activities, with Icasa. If not, we don't have the newsletter. Otherwise, you have seen it, received in the newsletter.
Thank you. We normally organize webinars with our partners. So most recently, we organized a webinar with the WHO Regional Office on emerging and re-emerging diseases, and also one on triple elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis. So these are among some of the activities that we organize in between Icasa.
Okay. Thank you. Just to give you just a few, don't want to dive into it, but once the newsletter is ready, we share it with you virtually so that you can have it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Luke. I think it was a worthwhile long session.
There are recommendations, and these recommendations are not followed. It means that more or less the work we did in the past is not reflecting in our way forward. And so, can you please move the slide for me so there are broad areas that we're looking at, and the first has to do with financing and sustainability. The issue of sustainability is very critical. It's a major terminology word now related to financing, because everything is funding. And the understanding is that there's dwindling resources globally now. We have to be more creative, and we need to look within. So the first recommendation was to expand domestic financing for HIV/AIDS. So as I present, I just want you to also keep in mind some of the things we are proposing, some of the topics we want to discuss in this Icasa 2025, and see whether we've actually reflected well and captured some of those priorities. So domestic financing is key to support universal health coverage in line with the Sustainable Development Plan. And the second is to explore PPP, public-private partnerships, to ensure sustainable funding. Yesterday, a few people talked about the fact that we should look at the mining sector, some key corporate sectors, to minimize the donor dependence. This is key. Every country has the private sector, and we have not tapped enough into that opportunity. Also, to implement some debt-to-health swap agreements to channel financial resources into health programs. This has been also attempted in some countries, and it's possible to scale up investment in research and development and local vaccine production and medical innovation. We saw the partnership between about 3 countries, Ghana, Rwanda, and Senegal, and how we can produce vaccines. So Ghana has a vaccine institute, and Professor, one of the chairs of the scientific committee, Professor William Ampofu, is just the immediate past head of that. He's the foundational head of that. And so we have to be more deliberate. If we want to establish a basis for even a counter research, there ought to be things we need to do to invest into that. And if we are systematic about it, because everything we do, interventions that we roll out, must be based on evidence. The evidence is generated through research. So we should look at research to policy and implementation. So this is a major thing. Now, with respect to HIV prevention and treatment, there was a need to look at mother-to-child transmission elimination. Mother-to-child transmission elimination is seen as a low-hanging fruit, and for a lot of the countries, there's been significant progress. The WHO has however, reoriented us to look at triple elimination, that is HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis B. Now, that in itself is coming with additional challenges. Community together. That is very practical, for us to focus on the mother-baby pair. And in this day and age with antiretroviral therapy, no mother should pass on the virus to the baby. So it's very possible to head towards elimination of mother-to-child transmission. In 2023, most countries have now started PrEP and all that, and the need to expand PrEP has become an issue, very critical through differentiated service models, and to look at private opportunities where PrEP can be available in pharmacies and locations where people can access it. Some of the countries like Ghana, it's through program. It's not in the pharmacies yet. And so the need to scale up PrEP is very critical because it's a biomedical prevention, method, and it's proven to be very, very effective. The children are always left out. If you look at the cascade of care for adults, children, you notice that there's always a lack. The children are lagging behind. Meanwhile, when you look at the numbers, for instance, in Ghana, 5% of the cohorts of people on treatment are children. Are not at 95%. So there is a fundamental issue there, and I think research should be able to bring this out. For a lot of countries to undertake bottleneck analysis, situational analysis, to actually identify the issues so that we can optimize antiretroviral therapy among the children. Integration has featured in our theme. Our theme for 2025 Icasa, as you can tell, there is integration there for sustainability. And I'm very happy that it means that some of these recommendations this way in the way forward. So the need to integrate HIV, TB, malaria, and hepatitis services in the routine service delivery is key. Avoiding verticalization is very important. And then viral load suppression must be scaled up. And through innovation, using point of care and other mechanisms, specimen referral systems and all that, to ensure that the people who are put on treatment are monitored, so that we can even go beyond just suppression to look at resistance testing and all that. So viral load scale up is key. And then the need to now, with the increasing evidence of long-acting prevention methods like cabotegravir and acapavir and all that, are becoming very critical. And it's high time we look at it. Unfortunately, there have been challenges with respect to access because, for instance, in Ghana, we tried to revise our guidelines on content, pricing, and availability to undertake feasibility studies. It was not possible, but we are still working at it. So PrEP is a long-acting mechanisms for prevention. It's very good. Now, community engagement and inclusion, nothing for us without us. And that has been the cliche, and we agree and accept. So the need to expand community-led monitoring to improve accountability in health service delivery is key. And already some countries have demonstrated community-led monitoring. The ITPC, the NAPLAS, they had this particular platform. Ghana, for instance, we have the community scorecard, and it creates an opportunity for the community to be part of their care. And it goes beyond community as in people living with HIV, but even the community they live in, and how these communities contribute to health service delivery and structure in the country. And the UNH is, for instance, leading initiatives to kind of strengthen and expand the community-led monitoring as an intervention, as an important program to support the responses. Stigma and discrimination is key. We can never have enough of reducing stigma. 10, 10, 10, all the things we need to do to minimize any barriers, any insecurity, any curtailing of people's rights is very critical to open the opportunity and doors and fast track our efforts to end the epidemic. So stigma reduction, discrimination is very critical, and we cannot believe it because the faith-based organizations play a key role. If you look at a lot of the country and then the continent, the faith issues are critical, and leadership in that sector are key to national responses. And it's very important that we include them, like Christian Health Association and so on and so forth, in the national responses to HIV. The role of women and the youth is key. And if you think about the woman, you are not thinking as an individual, you're looking at the whole nation, looking at multiple people. The woman occupies a place of influence, and by extension, the younger woman, adolescent. And so if you notice, most of the analysis now, adolescent and girls and young women are prioritized. And if you look at the DREAMS program in Zambia and East Africa, it was a focus. The studies show that the young adolescent is vulnerable. The likelihood of this particular group of people being infected is very high, so we need to focus on that. Now, there's a group that is a minority group, the people with disabilities, and sometimes we often forget about them. It's important that they are also prioritized, because if you're just doing analysis, you may say that the burden is not high among them, but even if it's one or two people, how do you cater for them? Because they are already vulnerable, so it will be a double jeopardy. And we need to think about it, because in this meeting, and so far, what we have been discussing, I've not seen that coming up very strongly. So we shouldn't forget about people who have disabilities. Respect to data and surveillance, we cannot move on without data. If we are ending the epidemic, there must be parameters. The indicators must show. It's not theoretical, it's not emotional. And therefore, data. Evidence is the game. Research is about contributing to knowledge to transform people, policy influence. It must be based on something. I believe that the trust politicians and other funders will have in us is how credible our data is as a scientific group. And therefore, everything we need to do to strengthen our monitoring and evaluation to ensure that we can be able to monitor what is happening, even as far as the virus is concerned. Issues about resistance is very key. The resistance to some of the medications is resistance testing, and WHO supports countries to do that. And I'm sure a lot of countries also have technical working groups. Ghana has for the drug resistance. Improving pharmacovigilance on dolutegravir. We finished not too long ago a study on dolutegravir. We're now looking at DT10 among children. And to establish a surveillance to be able to monitor what is happening, and it's established that within the Black Africa and women, there are potential biomedical changes, chemical changes. We need to follow it up, because now most of our clients are on dolutegravir-based medications, and we need a pharmacovigilance on this. The need to expand self-testing for HIV and hepatitis. We can see already that there's a lot of movement as far as self-testing for HIV, but not for hepatitis. Hepatitis still test kits available, and it's at a cost. But for HIV, the self-test, a lot of countries have launched their self-test policies, and they are in a scale-up mode, and we need to continue, because that is opportunity for people to know their status in the comfort of their homes without any risk of a third party or another individual. So these mechanisms have been proven in other countries in many places to increase the testing rate and linkage to care, to treatment. So self-test is very important, and we need to look at it. But what is important is to look at hepatitis also. The need to enhance real-time data use is key, and the proposition to use artificial intelligence is coming up. I have received a number of proposals where people want to use artificial intelligence to be able to track programmatic activity and to report same. And we cannot belabor the point as far as AI is concerned and digitization. If we don't plug into that, we will be left behind. We need to improve the tracking of pediatric and HIV infections and make sure that we close that gap. This is linked to the gap in pediatrics that I talked about earlier. Now, with respect to reporting, to monitor and report on the 5 individual priority indicators of differentiated service delivery, multi-months, dispensing, retention, viral suppression, and all those important indicators. Stigma and discrimination, the need to have a system to monitor it, and to link it to national database so that though that looks like a qualitative, it can have a semblance and relevance for the quantitative, indicators. Strengthen pandemic preparedness frameworks by setting measurable targets and improving accountability. And this came up because of COVID-19 and some of what we are experiencing now, but for COVID-19, I'm sure would have been accelerating better. And we need to prepare for such frameworks and for such surprises and crises of other pandemics so that we can mitigate the impact of those pandemics on these important diseases like HIV, TB, malaria, and all that. Implement the electronic medical system across board. There's a challenge when it comes to the database for persons living with HIV. I'm very happy that in Ghana, for instance, I've engaged people living with HIV. They are comfortable to some extent, but still there's anxiety as to whether if you have electronic medical systems and we can track people, it's not going to lead to some privacy issues. But we have to go there because without that, we don't have a full documentation of our recipients of care, and planning for them is very difficult. So in some of the country databases, the number of people currently on treatment is a little different from people who are actually swallowing the medication. Many more are taking the medication, but are proxy people. They are taking it in the name of other people. They are walking the shadows of people. But we need electronic medical system to establish a surveillance from testing to treatment and suppression. And that helps us effectively to track the cascade. With respect to resource allocation and planning, we have to secure early funding for this conference. We've heard all the budget issues. We've heard that so far where we are doing well with abstracts, but registration is a challenge. We have to intensify our marketing and secure more funding because it's a success factor based on the previous conference and what is happening now. We are in a more difficult time, but I believe that there's nothing impossible with God and we can make it. I believe Africa, we are very hopeful and spiritual and religious, and we have a lot of faith. And so we'll be able to make it. If you believe it, say amen. Let's ensure timely selection of host country and venue. We are doing that and then ensure that delegates get the scholarship programs and as many of these delegates. And I want to take this opportunity to encourage every country and the leadership of every country. It fits into the model of Icasa secretariat in every country and all that, but I'm sure there are champions in other countries where there can be local mobilization. And each country will start doing some serious advocacy to get institutions, private sector and all that, let's say sponsor X number of people, maybe 10 or 20 here, try to put it together. All of that will contribute to the bigger ocean that we are expecting for this conference. So the issue of visa processing has come up. We have taken it up and we are going to see how best this will be facilitated and that will be seamless the moment the secretariat start working. And then the issue of accessibility for persons with disabilities is a priority, providing signage and, if possible, sign language interpretation is very basic and fundamental. So I have to assure us that the venue we are looking at for Icasa 2025 has some of those features and opportunities, but we identify certain gaps and we hope to enhance the environment to make it more friendly for people with disabilities. Virtual participation will be available because now even when you do in person, some people would like to participate remotely, and so that consideration is there. We are not talking too much about Icasa, COVID-19 now, because COVID-19, as far as we are concerned, is over for this conference. But we will talk about the benefits of retaining some of the habits during COVID-19 so that people can still use their an influenza, a different influenza and all that, and all the things we need to do to minimize potential local transmission during the conference. Merci beaucoup. So, thank you very much.
It's been well presented, and I think you will agree with me. The recommendations there were robust, and it is a result of selecting excellent topics in the levels that we are now, accepting your topics. So to be a very good thing if every member of staff got those recommendations electronically. A member of staff, those who are members, I think the only 10 here. The rest of you. But the truth of the matter is that if you really want to look at HIV, the recommendations there are really very broad, covering every aspect of HIV. It's really that. Any questions? Any queries? Yes, let's start with Brian.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adler. I think I just wanted to, hello? I just wanted to say thank you for this presentation, but I just want to urge again to the delegates here that if you look on all the recommendations, they said there's an issue, that's 2 slides. All those DSD were being external funded by, the USAID of funding. So I think one of the things that we're really trying to emphasize is when we're speaking about sustainability, those interventions are currently not funded. So just urging that those who are recommending participators should possibly bring out that aspect towards this intervention that you are working and possibly who might be able to take care of that, which we think should be the domestic government, but it's not yet possibly. So we need that to come out specifically to go forward. So just thinking when it was written this. Thank you, President.
Okay, yes, let's go to Jimmy.
Thank I just want to give a recommendation on the recommendation that they can be presented earlier other than at this stage. And you find that some of the recommendations were going to be very useful when we were in groups, when we were selecting topics, and even when we were framing the sessions. Because if you are to read in between the lines, the recommendations, they were also being picked from how the program was done in Harare. And at this stage now, we have finalized quite a lot of sessions, and we might possibly consider to make use of the recommendations in a retrospect, which can be a problem as well. So my plea to the Secretariat is possibly these recommendations can be presented earlier, maybe during the first sessions after the official opening of this meeting. Thank you.
Point well taken. I think you missed out. They would have been very useful. Yes, the back there.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask that in your statement, you talked about data privacy, electronic device for data collection. When you're talking about the data collection, you talk about electronic device for monitoring, and you also talked about the pushback due to data privacy. I want to find out what Ghana AIDS Commission is doing in relation to how some general public interpret their data. We saw that in the when there was issue with the bill was presented to Parliament, there was a lot of misinformation about that. And categorically, one of the proponents of the bill in justifying their reasons why some section of the community should be criminalized, they used Ghana AIDS Commission data and interpreted it based on prevalence rates, and that information that was shared or given to the general public was not accurate. But we didn't hear from Ghana AIDS Commission coming out to say that this wasn't the direct or proper accurate interpretation of this data. And that goes a long way to inform certain decisions in terms of policy making with people who have entrusted programs and have committed themselves in giving their data out.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Philip, again.
Okay, I'm happy to come.
Thank you so much. And we want to appreciate the recommendation around further engagement. It's and we looking at faith and science in conversation. And my key also in the realization of that recommendation is we can have more of the faith-based, especially those who are based here in Ghana, participating in this committee and really being part of the various groups. Because I think more or less I am the only one that I'm in the community committee. And it's important to realize the engagement of the faith-based within the leadership and also the scientific side of things, so that the faith-based also participates in terms of the engagements that happen in plenary and even in other workshops and other engagements within the conference. I would really appreciate to see the realization of that recommendation. Thank you.
I suggest that by the next meeting, we kind of undertake some analysis of the impact of the US funding policies on that program to help us refine the discussion we have on the financing of HIV and research and innovation. I think we're really shooting from the dark now because there are pieces of information floating all around, but we don't really have an informed kind of analysis of what's going on. I'm particularly worried about the prospect of losing expertise on the continent. People migrating or looking for other jobs and exiting the HIV and the sector that we are all interested in, as well as losing traction on some of the very critical research that is going on, such as the one in the University of KwaZulu-Natal on HIV cure, institutions that will close down. It's not just the scientific institutions, it's like the civil society. A lot of organizations have had to close their doors abruptly. what does that mean for the discussions we need to have at the conference? And who else should be engaged in this discussion? I think that talking about replacement with local funding is a good idea, but we all know that that's at the minimum, medium and long-term prospect, So in the interim, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? What are the interim measures that we need to put in place so that we can sustain some of the critical work that is going on in the country?
Yeah, I saw a hand there. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think, first of all, what I do not get out of the recommendations, I think we are speaking from the past. The recommendations with the current situation still needs to be done. It is not an indictment on the presenter, but the current situation is very, very different. And I also did not see much about other HIV prevention technologies. The emphasis is still on PrEP only, and there are other methods like long-acting, PAP, etc., etc. And with regards to children, Gavi was shut down, although we don't want to put, Trump here. Gavi was supporting work in Africa, and we will find ourselves in a situation like Icasa where all of these programs are shut down. We don't have an analysis of Africa for Africa by Africa. Currently, we are influencing, we are discussing with international organizations, telling our story to international organizations, and they are leading the narrative. So I think it's important also for SAR to take charge, and I want to say big ups for us to still have the conference. Many other organizations can't even have conferences. It's a very big sign of our bigness as Africa, but we should lead the narrative. Currently, we are not. We are telling our stories of dying children, people going to die, and they'll stock out of ARVs. Where are the solutions?
Right. I think you're passionate about that problem. But just remember, it's the 2020 recommendation. So it's important. You're adding on. Any other suggestion? Yeah. No.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy. By hearing this presentation, I would like to recognize the work of the government and summarize everything they did. And then saying that, I would like now to tell our different programs, scientific leadership of community, when sending the letter to the speaker, give guidelines that will be in the same line as the theme and the specific objective of the conference. Otherwise, when we are doing report, there's a very big struggle. When are we going to put this information? And then please help us to do a very great job. Thank you.
Yes, Alan, let me tell you, I know you are the head of the laboratory. So yes, thank you. Thank you, laboratory.
Mr. President, Mr. President, I want to say something.
Yes.
So a lot of the things were suggestions, but respect to the last but one, we put something on injectables, long-acting, in one of the slides. So but I have to state that maybe in line with what head of rapporteur said, there will be presentations such as presentation of the state where we are in Africa. I think we can also reflect the progress made in some of these areas. So 2 years ago, we made this recommendation. So 2025, where are we with respect to these recommendations? So that will give a kind of status report as to what countries have done out of that conference. And that becomes a good basis to say that the outputs of the conference is really used to facilitate progress and work in the country. So we can let it be a standalone, specifically of this recommendation, reflecting the topics that are it's easy to put provide guidelines in line with the recommendation. The issue about the data use and analysis, it always happens as a program manager. We've always been confronted with when data is presented and some people twist it to suit themselves. But we've always come into and we've always come in to clarify. And in fact, unknown to you, some of the work we have done is what is all contributing to where we are. Because I've been on platforms with parliamentarians and I have the opportunity to explain and clarify and address things to them. And some of the assumptions and conclusions purely based on ignorance, but I don't fault anybody because this is a technical area. Sometimes when you just put out figures on prevalence, people are up in arms, they're doing it. But it's still the responsibility of we, the technical people, to clarify to them, and the heat will settle. And so it's one noted, but this is something we continue to do. But your suggestion is that we should preempt some of these, and we do that. I think some of the other comments are just like this, and I want to tell Mr. President.
Thank you so much. It's appropriate to auditors to say, although
Thank you, Mr. President. In the line of this report, I think that we are talking about the consequences of the current US decisions, but I think it's also an opportunity to look as we are moving forward, how can we take benefit of that, especially within the scientific program? How can we encourage abstracts and submit to works that can suggest alternative to that and solutions that can help moving forward with this. I'm going just to talk about the clinical tract. In this tract, we do have to support works on how to recycling treatment. We moved to the lithography, but we left behind very good drugs that can be used and more. Even if you have new drugs, and there are a lot of things that we can do on the scientific aspect to deal with that, to make a lot of economies and to be more efficient in terms of outcome for treatment or for prevention and medicines. Then we should be very focused on how to work on that on the view of abstract and perhaps even within our team to support works that can be presented and help do a new approach, not only driven by money, but really driven by scientific evidence. Because I'm going to say, listen, during the transition to the lithography, because people were just thinking about we need to change drugs, and that was done badly. And we are currently have a lot of resistance to the lithography, despite the fact that it was changed. That wasn't solved anything because it was changed in the context where the monitoring of patients and everything was not solved. There are settings where they are not parallel monitoring. Then if you change the drugs, you solve no problem. Then we need to use that as an important opportunity to start doing something that is very focused on what are the local needs, what are the things that should apply, and what can work for the future.